Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. One more time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hari, as we heard, Hari Bol. I haven't seen this devotee in so many years, and I've seen him do, like Prem Kishore said, I've seen he and his wife perform a duet kind of entertainment, but never like this. It was a good break. And there was a period of time that that's what he did as a profession. He was a stand-up comedian. Now he does some other profession, but it's in his blood. Two things before I begin this topic with Bhaktivinode Thakur. Two things. One of the things is that much of what Shyamsundar said was a retelling of what Bhaktivinode Thakur has written. Of course, it was in his own words, and it's his own realizations, and to some degree, it's drawn directly from Bhaktivinode Thakur. Like, for example, I'm going to read portions of a section from Harinam Chintamani, and one of the recommendations that Shyamsundar made is right in his writings. If you find that there's a kind of inattention that I'm distracted, then Bhaktivinode Thakur writes, one option is go to a dark room, shut off the lights, put a blindfold over your eyes, so you're not distracted by, the senses. I know a devotee that does that. I mean, he doesn't just keep a low light, he shuts off the light. There's a little passage from Chaitanya Charitamrita, maybe it's Chaitanya Bhagavat, one of the two, where Mahaprabhu is performing this Mahaprakash Leela. Mahaprakash Leela means he manifests his identity as the personality of Godhead before all the devotees at the house of Srivas Thakur. And he brings the devotees one by one and tells them things about their previous activities that nobody knew, and he knew the detail. And he displays, in other words, his omniscience, his divinity. He did this by sitting on the throne or the altar of Vishnu. He sat down and called devotees one by one and told them who they are in their spiritual identity, and etc., etc., etc. So one of the persons he called for was Kolavechar Sridhar. Kolavechar Sridhar, by his name, Kolavechar, his occupation was he sold banana products, banana leaves, banana flowers, banana cups, leaf cups, and bananas, which grow on trees. In Bengal, they grow all over the place. So how wealthy could he be? He was very poor. And he, sat by the side of the road and sold banana products. And regularly, Nimai, then, he would come by and snatch things, steal, and have a lively discussion. Why are you stealing? You're a Brahmin. Brahmins don't steal. I'm a poor man. Why are you stealing from me? Then he would say, then you should give me a fair price. And they bargain on the price as a Vaishya. It was just a loving exchange with Kulavechar Sridhar. And the last thing that Mahaprabhu did before taking sannyas, Kulavechar Sridhar came to him and gave him a gourd, some kind of a vegetable that grows on a vine that was on the rooftop of his little hut. His little hut, is said, it had more holes than, so when it rained, there was no shelter. Anyway, he came and brought something for him, and he had his mother cook it, and then he ate, and then he left home at night. So when this Mahaprakash Leela was occurring, he said, go find Kulavechar Sridhar. There's no street lights. They have no lights on their cell phone. They have no torches. So just follow the sound of his chanting, because he was not on the main pathway. He was off over where the banana orchards are, banana tree orchards. Just follow the sound of the name, you'll find him. Meaning, implicit is, he would chant loudly all night long, every night. And Mahaprabhu knew that. So, but in the darkness of night, because there's no distraction. That's one thing. What Shyamsundar said was just, I don't know if he knows it, but I know it is largely, it's just his own way of expressing, by his realization of the teachings of Bhaktivinode Thakur, which are, you'll hear shortly, but it's the teachings of the previous acharyas, particularly Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and his explanation. Many of the things are just drawn directly, a rewrite, from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Madhurya Kandambani. And he's generations later writing the same thing in his own manner, his own language. And the second thing is, there are some people who are here for the Japa retreat and some people that aren't here from all over the country, and they attend Shyamsundar's class every morning, where he has a Zoom class, and periodically he'll send me, there's 136 people on the Zoom call right now. It's a lot of people getting benefit, and it's like from all over the place. And the people that have been chanting, many of you probably have been chanting for a while, some people chanting for 10 years, 20 years, more, and they get a lot of benefit from. So this is an advertisement. He didn't ask me to survey this, but if you're interested in going after this Japa retreat of helping to improve your Japa, you can find out how to join his call and check it out. You may find that it's very beneficial, because he's heavily or strongly invested in the activity. Not so long ago, I was in Houston during the Thanksgiving weekend. Instead of being here, I was there. We had a nice seminar on a topic. And one of the persons who was in Houston, I was surprised to see him, is Vijay Prabhu. Vijay Prabhu is the book distribution minister, either for North America or global. He's a book distribution minister. And he's got blinders. It's book distribution. Book distribution. I mean, he reads Prabhupada's books and he goes to Mangalarti, but it's book distribution. He's very, very absorbed for several decades. You touch him in his book distribution. So he asked me, he didn't have to ask me, but he asked me, and I said, it's in my blood too. So I've been trying to win for this month, December, book distribution marathon. So here it is for this. Distribute books. Of course, chant the holy name, but distribute books, because it's a really nice opportunity. It's part of our legacy, part of the legacy that Prabhupada has given us. He didn't say, okay, in the month of December, go out and distribute many books. But it became part of what we did. It was our life. Everybody, not, the brahmacharis, everybody. I could tell some stories, not now though. So Shyamsundar likewise is, you touch him and it's the holy name. I mean, it's not obsessive, but he's absorbed. And you want to increase the quality of your chanting, check it out, and you might find it increases the quality of your chanting. Okay. Now, Bhaktivinode Thakur. Some of you know that he wrote many songs. One of the series of songs is Sharanagati. Sharanagati is the 6 principles of surrender. And the sequence in the 6 principles of surrender given in most of our texts doesn't start with humility, but his does. And so of these songs of Sharanagati, this is the first one. And there's some number, 5, 6 songs on different dimensions of humility, or the role of humility, and specifically, humility is the medium of nama sadhana. You say negative. If you don't have humility, who's going to want to chant? Who's going to want to take shelter of something or someone? If you want to take shelter of Krishna, humility is an essential backbone, it's an essential component for the actual act of taking shelter. Here is his writing. Patita Pavana Sri Gauranga came to this world to preach Sri Harinam. And he has bestowed Nam to the people of the world. However, the first and foremost vehicle of that Nama sadhana, cultivation of the holy name, is humility. I don't know if you noticed it. I noticed it. It's part of what Shyamsundar had to say. Not that, Bhaktivinode Thakur's got a copyright on the notion of humility and the holy name, but it's true. Some people say that the results of the holy name that are stated in Scripture are not true, but are only meant to attract one to the name. I mentioned this. It's one of the 10 offenses. Artavad. Those persons, due to lack of bhakti sukriti, lacking faith, cannot understand the real purport of the Scripture or the greatest welfare of mankind. Instead, they will take the opposite interpretation. Now, notice there's a few books on the bookshelf next to him. During the time of Bhaktivinode Thakur, the printing press was just beginning. And he took full advantage, and so did his disciple or student, his son, Bhaktisiddhanta. But before that books were handwritten primarily. The rascal who commits artavad against the name is doomed to rot away in hell. Sounds like fools and rascals, Prabhupada's language. Rot away in hell. But it's strong. So there's the offense against the holy name. Well, a jiva can attain his highest goal if he embraces the holy name as the means to Hari. Now there, notice again, photography was also becoming a little fashionable in his time, and he poses in different outfits or attire. And this is during Kartik time, because he's got his nice Kartik beard, but he's got books on his lap, because inseparable, on the one hand is his bead bag, and the other hand is his books. He was very well read and very well written. 100 books. One of them is Harinam Chintamani, about the holy name. The jivas should desire no other wealth than this grace of Krishna, the shelter of the holy name. There it is, Harinam Chintamani. Chanting of the holy names is simultaneously the goal of life and the process of achieving that goal. So sadhana and sadhya. It's not new. These are things that we've heard. But it's true. And it's important to say again and say again and say again. Kevalastakam. Giyatam, Giyatam Karno. Say it again and say it again, the holy name. Diyatam, Diyatam. So meditate on the holy name, hear the holy name, chant the holy name. This is a photograph taken during the final stage of Bhaktivinode Thakur's life. He uniquely, after 10 children and all of what he did in his worldly life, accepted formal Babaji initiation, and he made his residence in Puri, as we mentioned already, very proximate to the Samadhi of Haridas Thakur, and that's a photograph taken in that place. Distraction in chanting produces a type of illusion, causing serious offenses against the holy name that are difficult to overcome. Something similar to what Shyamsundar said during his talk. Form good habits, don't form bad ones. This illusion leads to craving for wealth, women, position, success, and cheating. When these material attractions cover the heart, one loses interest in chanting the holy name. I have a whole 3 pages of text from Harinam Chintamani on inattentive chanting, and I'll read some portions from it. It's the same place, little different pose. Inattention while chanting. Well, I'm just going to read some of it because it's almost 3 pages. My understanding is he's taken and then expanded on Madhurya Kadambini. What's Madhurya Kadambini? Madhurya Kadambini is a book by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur that expands on the 9 stages of bhakti. There's 9 processes of bhakti. This is the 9 stages of bhakti. Adau Shraddha, beginning with faith. Tata Sadhu Sangha, Anartha Vritti Syat, etc. So those are the first 3. And the Anartha Vritti section of his book has 3 parts. And one of them is the offenses against chanting, and inattention being one of the offenses against chanting, because anarthas is short. The anarthas have different sources. One of them is seva-aparad. If you make offenses in serving, then you get a reaction for that offense in serving. And then he writes, and it's true. However, the reaction to seva-aparad can be counteracted just by namabhas, the shadow of the holy name, unless one continues to make seva-aparads, and then it becomes namaparad. You just continue making offenses in the strength of chanting the holy name, because that's one of the 10 offenses against the holy name. In short, the offenses against the holy name are most serious, and they bring unwanted things into the heart that are most difficult to remove. Something quite similar to what Shyamsundar Prabhu said in his little presentation before. And there's a whole section where he, Bhaktivinode Thakur, takes that section and expands on it. So I'll just give you a little banner. He identifies 3 categories of inattention. My memory says there's 4 listed in Madhurya Kandamani, but the 3 categories which he's going to expand from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's writing is apathy. There's a Sanskrit word, but apathy towards the holy name. Now, why might there be apathy towards the holy name? So that's his explanation. The apathy towards the holy name is due to who can say how many lifetimes and the strong affinity that we have for enjoying separately from Krishna. It's the basic principle of material life, a long-standing principle of material life. In fact, we wouldn't be in material bodies if we didn't have that operating in our system. What's that? Inclination to enjoy separately from Krishna. It's very strong, and it keeps us bound. And so there's apathy towards taking shelter, because that's the opposite of why we're here. We're here because of an inclination, a spirit, strong. How many lifetimes who can say spirit, and it's just self-perpetuating, wanting to enjoy separately from Krishna. So apathy towards the holy name is rooted there. It's hard to remove it. And then it has different manifestations. Inattention. Apathy towards the holy name is a category. And he gives some nice expansion. It's one may chant 64 rounds, one may chant 3 times 64 rounds, and may chant tomorrow we may chant 64 rounds. There still can be apathy. We're not necessarily going to have a feeling of affinity for chanting. Some of you like reading Prabhupada's books, and one of Prabhupada's books is Nectar of Instruction, which is one of Rupa Goswami's books. And text number 7 speaks about this. It's like a jaundiced person not having a taste for rock candy, when rock candy or mishri is the remedy for their jaundiced condition, but no taste for the medicine. So we may have that apathy towards the holy name because of our disease of long, strong affinity for enjoying separately. So it manifests in attention, like this nice devotee was saying, when she comes home from work and it's hard to get focused on chanting. Because of the strong affinity. It's not just that day at work, it's lifetimes and lifetimes of long, reinforced, repeated so many times. It's our nature to want to be enjoyers of, you name it, fill in the blank, or combinations of things that make for enjoyment separate from Krishna. So that's the first source of, or category of, inattention. So you want to hear the good news? The good news is you can overcome it. That's how the second paragraph in Harinam Chintamani. It's 2 things. He has 2 options. Associate with Shyamsundar Prabhu. Associate with devotees that are absorbed in the holy name. They have good habits. They have strong affinity. They may not be perfected souls, that's okay. they have strong affinity, and their lifestyle, and you touch them, and out comes this attraction for the holy name. So associate with such persons that have that affinity. And it helps you develop, you see how they live their life, and you get inspired to say, I like it. I mean, that's his language. This is good. This is language. And so you not imitate, but you follow in the footsteps of, so it's sadhu sangha principle. And then the other option is, another option is go to a quiet place that's sanctified, which is part of what Shyamsundar said, not your workplace, not your dining place, but a quiet place that's clean and reverential mood and with absorption. And if, depending, turn the lights out. I mean, you don't have to do that. He said, you suggested close your eyes. There's risk, you close your eyes or go into a dark place. It may be sleep inducive. But if your focus is, I don't want to be distracted, I don't want this indifference and apathy for the holy name to govern the quality of my chanting. Shri Shri Radha Shyama Sundara Ki Jai. Carefully chanting in this way, an attraction or taste for the name will develop, and indifference, or this apathy or indifference to the holy name, will be suppressed. Or, same thing as I said, Prabhupada's words, practice something again and again, it becomes your nature, and second nature will replace your conditioned nature, because it's actually our nature. That's one kind of indifference, because there's the heading. Inattention, excuse me. First is this indifference or apathy. The second one he identifies is laziness or inertia. That's tamagun. Chant with a sluggish mind, or after chanting a little, one has to stop before finishing his round. This is one round, is called laziness. Now, I don't know if some of you do that. I'm not super strict on this, depending on what's going on. Supposing you have to answer the call of nature, you put your bead back down and go answer it. So it's not like I've got to finish the round, otherwise it's laziness. But be circumspect. And his point is, so Shyamsundar made the same point. Finish a round. Each round. And so there's a focus, and this it's for Krishna round. It's with Radha Krishna. That Hare Krishna is Radha Krishna. I'm calling them. They're present through their sound of their name. So don't complete. Don't be incomplete, or casual, or mechanical, or something. It's devotional, and that's just a detail. We complete each round, but hanker for a real experience of the holy name, or a taste for the holy name. He gives emphasis of prayer to the holy name, or prayer to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's calling for mercy. So there's effort that is an antidote to inertia, and then there's mercy, because there's this inattention is rooted deeply. So that's his recommendation. The third type is our dear friend distraction. Put your hand in your bead bag, and what happens? One thing is you feel your beads, that if you've chanted nicely for some number of days or some part of your life, just touching your beads, it reminds you of nice chanting. It's just, the feeling is there. But otherwise, it's just immediately the mind is going somewhere else. So it's distraction. And where does the mind go? It depends on what you're attached to. That's where the mind goes. Fill in the blank. And it can be many things, or it can be different things at different times, or whatever it is. It's attachment to the temporary. It's similar to apathy towards the holy name, but it's more now specific. It's affinity for something else. It's like the instruction, always think of Krishna, never forget Krishna. You say it forwards and backwards. Smartavya satatam vishnor, vismartavya najanta chit. Always remember, don't forget. Or in the condition of surrender, Krishna, you're my only shelter. The opposite, I have no other shelter. It's the same thing, forwards, backwards. So distraction is just the flip side of apathy. Then I have an affinity for something else. And it rules our life. Just like Prabhupada explaining these two principles, avaranatmika and prakshepatmika, the throwing potency and the covering potency of Maya, two potencies. Throwing into the field of the material energy. And you try to get out, and the covering keeps you there. And both are operating all the time. The affinity for being a separate enjoyer, and the inability to get out of the separate enjoyer mentality. Even if you try. It's Maya. And so this distraction is attraction for Maya. There's no attractiveness, but it looks attractive. As the saying goes, not all that glitters is gold. It appears to be something, and the mind becomes attracted, and thus distracted from the holy name. So then he recommends keep trying. And then he also recommends voluntarily, this is tapo divyam putrakayena sattvam shuddhyat, the verse from Rishabdev's teachings. It's a nice verse, 552 Bhagavatam, if you like to look up verses, 552. Tapo divyam, so he recommends on Ekadasis and appearance days. He takes it to an extreme. The principle is reduce your material and increase the spiritual, because it's auspicious days. So it's a way he's recommending to overcome distraction by promoting attraction and reducing material affinity purposefully. I mean, it's just one day, but over a period of time, Ekadasis doesn't become, oh no, it's Ekadasi. It becomes great. It's an opportunity, it's an auspicious day, and on Ekadasis I like decreasing and increasing. And you stay with it. His recommendation is fast the whole day, stay awake all night, engage with others in chanting and hearing and discussing topics. Just a little sharing. Shamsundar may remember this, but there was a period of time when Tamal Krishna Maharaj was a champion of doing this. So I remember very clearly, because I taught at the VIHE every Kartik, so every Kartik month there's 2 Ekadasis, and he invited the devotees to come at night, and all night long, fasting all day long, Nirjala Ekadasi every Ekadasi, and all night long there was some topic. There was kirtan and discussion on a topic, and reading and discussion on a topic, and kirtan, and till the sun came up the next morning, and then we would break the fast. It was really nice. And it's not conjecture, it's right here in Harinam Chintamani. Now, if one can do that, fantastic. Supposing one can't do that for very practical reasons, you do something. And do something that's sustainable. Ideal is to support that something you do with others that are so inclined, and that's your support structure. And it's a way to decrease indifference. or distraction, of the three types of inattention. That's the third he's listed. And then another remedy is prayer. I'll read. To keep the offenses of indifference from entering the heart, pray for the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, who is absorbed in the nectar of the holy name. He has many other nice things to say. I'm not going to read it all. The last section. Extremely self-surrendered devotees prefer to most exclusively embrace Sri Nam to every other feature of devotion. They have a more intense appetite for singing and meditating upon the holy name than for anything else. It doesn't mean they don't do anything else, unless you're Haridas Thakur, but he also had discussions and did other things. But it means it has a very special place in your heart. And that's our life. Just little sharing. In the Henry Street Temple, where Srila Prabhupada visited, it was a rented building. It was a brownstone building. That's a term that's used in New York. It means the building was made of brownstone, so they call it brownstone buildings. And it had two sides, this side and that side. And the one it's a walk up, there was the temple room, big temple room. And on the other side, just a mirror of this side, was Prabhupada's quarters. It was big. And he didn't need big. So the front room was where, if he wanted to entertain guests, he would invite them to go to the front room. But in the back was his desk, and over a little on the side was a little cot, and he slept on his cot, and had a little guest room. It was his servants' quarters were in the closet. But it was Prabhupada's quarters. So I was the temple commander for a while, and I had the privilege of guarding his quarters at night, because no one else wanted to do it. When you're temple commander, it means if you can't find somebody to do it, you do it yourself. That's what it means. But that was what I liked to do, because I could be with Prabhupada even when he was sleeping, because before he took rest, like Shamsundar said, he was part of his regulation. As busy as he was, he would sit with his harmonium and sing before taking rest. Absorb himself in, the spiritual world through the medium of Narottam Das Thakur or Bhaktivinode Thakur or some great acharya's songs singing about Krishna and whatever else the song was about. And then, so that was part of his regulation. That was in him. And as you most likely know, even before there was anything, he was making recordings of his singing for the disciples. It was very practical, very effective. What's that sound? Okay. I'm pausing because there's another story. I'm getting distracted by stories, but I hope that's okay. Some of you may know, as the others, if you didn't know, now you know, the Tirupati temple, the ISKCON Tirupati temple at the bottom of the hill was built almost entirely by book distribution. And how did that happen? How did it happen was Revati Raman had a wonderful relationship with the TTD, and their organizational group gave permission for the devotees to have book stalls along the walkway path going up and up and up and up if you walk up to the top of where the temple is. And there's a zillion tourists. But they had book stalls, a formal They created or built a little wooden stall, and then at night they locked it up so they didn't have to carry the books away. That's how they raised funds for their temple. There are many nice stories, but the story that I wanted to tell about Prabhupada was, one day there were two devotees at a bookstall, and one of the devotees saw a man who just was standing there staring at the bookstall. And he started getting nervous. He thought, this man maybe wants to steal. So he confronted the man and, didn't deal very nicely with the man. He was, doing one of those, wagging his finger at him and saying things. And then the second devotee recognized, don't do that. This is a celebrity. There's this famous Karnataka singer named something something. You know who I mean? Okay. Some of you know his name. I don't. And so he said, you go apologize. And he went back to apologize. Oh, I didn't know. I thought you had good, bad intentions. And he just, his eyes were teared. And he said, that recording, the person singing was singing from another world. It was Prabhupada. They're just Prabhupada's recorded bhajans, sitting in the front room of the Brooklyn Temple, the Henry Street rented place, just singing, and because he recorded it, and then it was made into publications, and it was circulated. That's what we listen to. So I find that pretty impressive. I don't know about you, but here's a person whose sensitivities are so tuned in to refined sound. And this isn't just a good singer. This person's from another world. His voice is from another world. And my point is, that's something from what Bhaktivinode Thakur writes, that the time may come for us also, not necessarily bhajan, but as Shamsundar said, where you have some discretionary time or schedule some time where during certain time of the day, it's just everything is shut down and it's just one thing. And don't let other things interfere. It's just immersion. And you do it regularly and do it regularly and do it regularly and do it regularly, it becomes your nature. There may be the distraction thing, but you do it regularly and do it regularly. It becomes the affinity for other things subsides, and the affinity for the holy name awakens, or that which is at the soul platform. That's what Bhaktivinode Thakur is writing in simple fashion on this inattention while chanting. Now here's a nice photograph. Srila Prabhupada with some body of water, perhaps the Ganges in the background. And as you know, he wrote how many books? 100 books. Try writing a book. Try writing a Vyasa Puja offering. And how long does it take you? Try writing a book. So he's quite prolific. Now here's one, it's a painting, not a photograph, and certainly has a bead bag, and there's a Achman cup, but I don't see his books because all other poses are with books. He has written commentary, one of his books is a commentary on Namastaka by Srila Rupa Goswami. And here's one of the verses from Namastaka. There's a lotus flower with lotus feet in the middle. And the translation, "Oh, Harinam, the tips of the toes of your lotus feet are constantly being worshipped by the glowing radiance emanating from the string of gems known as the Upanishads, the crown jewels of all the Vedas." Now, Bhaktivinode Thakur, took this teaching and made a corollary teaching where there's the name and the feet of the name. So just go through the verse, it's nice. Not only the holy name has form, but the holy name has feet. And not only the holy name has feet, but the holy name has toes. And not only the holy name has toes, but tips of the toes. And the tips of the toes are worshipped by the glowing radiance emanating from the string of gems, like the crown jewels of the Upanishad, is the Upanishads. Crown jewel of the Vedas is the Upanishads. So the Upanishads, he's indicating they have effulgence. And the effulgence is reaching up. The effulgence of the Upanishads is reaching up to the tips of the toes of the lotus feet of the holy name. It's nice, isn't it? Crown jewels. So, you are eternally adored by liberated souls such as Narada and Shukadev. O Harinam, I take complete shelter of you, Namastika. So he has taken this and written his own writings. Through the mouth of Srila Rupa Goswami, Krishna, in the form of Lord Chaitanya, the son of Mother Sachi, preached the glories of his own holy name. There is no difference between the holy name of Lord Krishna and Lord Hari himself. The Vedic scriptures sing of the true value of the glory of the holy name. All the Upanishads are like a necklace of beautifully effulgent jewels shining before the lotus feet of the holy name. See, he's just a follower of Rupa Goswami. The two syllables, ha and ri, are a mine of all devotional mellows. All the ecstasies of devotion have taken shelter in them. Falling at the lotus feet of the holy name, Thakur Bhaktivinode says, O Harinam, I pray for residence at your lotus feet. Now notice there's numbers on the left margin, and it's not all 10, but the stanzas of a song that he's written to take the teachings of Rupa Goswami, which are the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, which are the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam, and put it in song form. And these are some of the songs that he would sing on a regular basis. Here's another stanza coming from Bhaktivinode Thakur. The sages have always, oh, all glories unto you, holy name. The sages have always sung hymns praising you. And you have now appeared in the transcendental form of the supreme syllables for the pleasure of all humanity. If one chants those syllables of the holy name, even indifferently, indirectly, jokingly, deceptively, or slightly, those are namabhas. You destroy his most dreadful sinful reactions, thereby extinguishing all of his sufferings. Therefore, you are always victorious. So he wrote his own Namastika commentary, that's Rupa Goswami's, and here's his. All glories to the holy name, the abode of the utmost transcendental bliss. The supreme absolute truth, who possesses an eternal form, has descended in the form of the holy name. He shows mercy to his devotees and shows boundless compassion and kindness to all fallen souls. All glories to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is called by different names, such as Hari, Krishna, and Rama. He is the all-auspicious resting place of all living entities within the universe. And He delights the minds of all souls, great sages, honoring his holy name, constantly sing the holy name, filling their mouths with that sound. Oh, eternal holy name of Krishna, you possess all powers and bestow auspiciousness upon the living beings. Without you, there is no other friend to deliver us from the ocean of material existence. You have come for the deliverance of all fallen souls. I'm feeling like, let's get going tomorrow for the 64 round day today. That's how I'm feeling. I don't know if some of you have been invited, but my experience in participating in these Japa retreats is he's invited some people to come to the temple at midnight. You planning that this time? Shamsundar? No. What time you coming? Midnight. Okay. I hope the doors are open. Somebody will let you in. So if you want to start tomorrow's 64 rounds at midnight, you'll have company. We have to come here. And you can come whenever you come. And wake up whenever you wake up, but that's a possibility. Okay. No, it's not working again. There we go. Okay. For all souls within this world, there is much misery and sorrow. Oh, Harinam, if someone calls upon you just one time, feeling himself very meek and lowly, possessing nothing, and what is it? Seeing to others, Okay, but if when you're saying it, we can't hear it because it's 6 voices. Anyway, seeing no other remedy for his relief, you then easily destroy all his sorrows. Presto. If one simply obtains a slight reflection, there we are, Namabas, slight reflection or glimmer of you, then all sorts of terrible miseries disappear. Thakur Bhaktivinode says, all glories to the holy name of Lord Hari. Oh, Harinam, I perpetually fall at your lotus feet. And it's not just poetry, it's his mood, it's his heart, poured out through the form of song. That's our great Acharya, Bhaktivinode Thakur. There he is, nicely shaven. It's not Chaturmasya time. But there's books by his left hand. And, whoop. Could you fix that, please? Go full screen, go back towards the end. Help. Back there in the control room. Oh, we got to do it this manually. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, technology. Could you take us back to where we were? Thank you. Keep going. Help. One more. More. Oh. Nice photograph. That's a painting. Okay. This is a little prayer, not by Bhaktivinode Thakur, but it's a devotee, an ISKCON devotee. To grow a lotus in your heart, you need lots of water. From tears of longing and muddy ground, from years of softening, and a strong desire to find the source of beauty and truth, it is then that the seeds of the lotus-like love will sprout. This is an ISKCON devotee calling out to Krishna for mercy. I like this illustration. And I think that's the last slide. Is there another slide? Oh, control room person? That's it. Okay. I'm not used to this. I have my computer and they got We should end because it's already 7:30 and you've been very patient. My respects and regard for all of you, for how patient you've been. And I don't know how you're feeling, but I'm ready for the 64 round day today, but we'll have to wait till tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Now, what's next? You want the microphone? Here's the microphone.
Hare Krishna. So fully charged up for tomorrow. So my humble request, what I would do is lessen your dinner now, but even though we have some just dinner outside, if you like to honor, and sleep early. If you want to join Shyam Sundar Prabhu in the morning, or if anyone is there nearby our home in Prabhupada village, you can come. So start early tomorrow, and we'll see you tomorrow here. And tomorrow a few things, maybe even after the session tomorrow, morning session will tell. Very less breakfast, very light, and Mohanvrat, no talking. If there are kids, we will take care on the community hall, okay? So, anyone is interested for 12 o'clock? Shyam Sundar Prabhu is asking. If anyone is interested, yeah. Otherwise, I don't want him to be alone here. I cannot come. Okay, only one or two, I don't think it is encouraging. At least 10 people. So, only one is interested for 12, so I think we can do it our home, Prabhu. You and me will do, okay? Okay. Okay. What is it? We'll do it at our home only. Yeah. So, Hare Krishna. So, after Prasad, if anyone want to be here, actually our youth is here to set the tone for bhajans. Maybe if anyone is there, we can continue. Otherwise, we can drop that, okay? Tomorrow we can do. Okay. Hare Krishna.